Well, well, well. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh my God, Mr. Deep Voice Announcer.
You can just turn.
Well,
You can turn your body.
I will attempt to rotate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Valleycast remote quarantine. Well, actually, this one's not remote. I'm just still in dynamic banter mode. Dynamic banter is remote. Welcome to the Valleycast quarantine
edition.
Cabin Fever edition.
Cabin Fever edition. That's great. Valley Floke. How on brand. Oh, hi.
Yeah, you sounded a little quiet.
You have a little space if you need to.
No, that's fine. It was fine where it was.
Oh.
So basically what's going on right now is it's me, Steve Zaragoza of the Valley Folk. Ho, 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 ho. And
Are you DMX?
I wish. And ALANA Fickus is here, my girlfriend, and basically what we're doing is we are each Valley Folk member is taking home the Zoom recorder after a thorough scrubbing and 2 microphones or more. And we're going to be recording episodes of the Valleycast from our respective quarantined homes. So this first one comes to you from my apartment, and it's going to be me and ALANA.
Aloha. Oh, then now I'm loud.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. It's very funny.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be recording. So Joe is gonna do one with like Heather and maybe his family, which sounds like madness to me. And then Elliot's gonna do one with Grace, hopefully, and that's the plan. And then we're gonna do like a Skype one where someone or more are going to be Skyping in, and we're just trying to do our part and be responsible during these trying times.
Yeah.
But it's just safer to kind of just quarantine yourself, and it's safer to kind of stay away from other people. They say stay at least 6 feet away from people because the virus known as COVID-19 is an airborne virus, as far as they know. And so it's very easy to just get it from just being in the same vicinity with someone. It'll just float on droplets in the air or some shit.
Steve, I got an idea. What if we maybe don't talk about this stuff just making us scared?
I mean, we got to talk a little bit about it because it's the reason why we're doing it this way. We're doing the podcast this way. I mean, it won't make it the whole topic of the show, but it's hard. It's just hard to not at least bring it up right now because things are strange and people are, stuck in their homes.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't bring up quarantine. I feel like everybody knows how the virus is spreading. And
maybe,
we're being
and maybe
safe.
not. Maybe some people don't know. I mean, look, I'm not an authority on this stuff. I just wanted to mention very quickly why we're all not in the same room. And ALANA and I live together, so ALANA is here.
I'm here.
And so we're going to do this kind of like girlfriend-boyfriend relationship version of the Valleycast.
Hi.
So anyway, ALANA, you were on the last episode of the Valleycast. You're like a fucking honorary Valleycast host now.
I'm a fucking honorary Valleycast.
Honorary.
Hi. So desu ne.
So anyway, welcome to the Valleycast. And so let's see, any housekeeping? We're still trucking along with your show. We're on week 2
After the launch
of your show, and right now it is Thursday. And this comes out Monday, so you've gotten the rest of the weekend of content. There was a wonderful super fight video that went up on Friday, and I believe you got another one on Saturday, part 1 and 2, back to back. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming, and there's, more weekly Your Show episodes coming starting today, Monday, if you're listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start rolling in some guests. We had my friend Dan Hutton, who is a friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while. She's on an episode. And I believe we got Kib Clayton from the Sugar Pine Boys. and we got Malcolm in there. Then we got Sarah Whittle.
Dang, you guys got a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot of guests.
And you shot all that already?
Oh, yeah. We shot so much.
I was going to say you're well aligned for this incident in humanity. You guys have so much content prepared that you can no longer shoot currently.
I'm feeling pretty proud of the fact that we really did shoot a lot of stuff.
And that universal timing is in your favor.
Like I don't want to misquote Joe, but Joe and I were talking this morning, and I believe we have 2 full months of content.
Wow.
I think that's where we're at. I don't know if that should be talked about because, we'd like to have everyone have a feeling that we have tons of stuff always coming, but I think we have 2 months of content ready to go.
As a content creating, first of all, you guys have probably, I think, doubled your content because your show's gone nearly daily. So that's a substantial more amount of content you need to create now. But there's also space for fresh stuff to happen all the time. I know from just observing, you guys will have an idea and just pump it out and replace this Saturday with that thing or whatever.
Yeah, Joe wrote a sketch that really takes advantage of our isolation.
Yeah.
And could really work in a fun way. And Joe and I were just brainstorming. I mean, the thing is like, for me, when I am left to my own devices, when I'm left alone, it's really hard for me to be motivated to make something. I really work well with a group or with at least another person,
Yeah.
And it's the second Joe and I opened up a channel of creativity, the ideas just started pouring out. So, again, we're unable to all be in the same place together, and we've officially shut down the Valley Folk office. We put out an announcement of that on socials and such. And Elliot wrote a wonderful State of the Valley piece on our Patreon. For those of you that are patrons, you can read that. And if you're not a patron, I don't know if that was a public post, but we post things on the Patreon. I've been posting a lot of lenses. That's kind of like Patreon's Instagram stories.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know they had
and
that.
I've been posting these little, in fact, we're going to hop into that in just a second because I posted a video just before recording asking people if they had any topics they wanted us to talk about.
Yeah.
Not that there's any shortage of things to talk about because there's a lot I want to talk about, and we'll probably talk a little bit about all this stuff, and then we'll get to your guys' topic suggestions. But
well, to finish what you were saying,
I really do. There's really so much to do, even while we're isolated. There's content that we can be creating while we're here, isolated on our own. And if we're feeling courageous enough, and if we're following the rules of staying away from each other, we might be able to do something with 1 or 2 people. But it's a little risky. But yeah, the content shouldn't stop, but it certainly will get to a point where we've gone through. I mean, hopefully it doesn't last too much longer than a couple of months or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the countrywide, worldwide kind of pandemic quarantining kind of thing goes, but we will get to a point where it'll seem like we've gotten through the vast majority of pre-produced things like your shows and such. Mm-hmm. And if we get to the end of our productions of your shows and we don't have new ones coming, then by then hopefully we'll have thought of something to do in kind of not instead of, but we could do a Valley Folk Light while we're kind of still figuring this whole thing out. And just maybe it's Valleycasts and a couple of videos here and there from quarantine, or maybe there's old footage. I know I've talked about this before, but I have an entire Comic-Con out yonder that I did with Brett Register when Brett and I went to Comic-Con together. And that is a piece of content, and I've got this Jumanji out yonder that I'm working on, and I've got we've got a bunch of other things, and I've been streaming, and I hope some of you came to see the Animal Crossing stream. That hasn't happened yet, but
hasn't happened yet as we record, right?
But it has happened by the time you guys are listening to this, and in fact, I guess if you guys enjoyed it, and if I enjoyed it, and if it was a fun time, maybe we'll do more, because it is. I love Animal Crossing, and we should talk about it in a second, because Alana knows nothing about Animal
We should
Crossing.
talk more about things that we want to know how we felt about them that'll happen in the future.
Right.
Because maybe in a few days, something really cool will happen, and maybe I'll really love it.
Well, Anthony Carboni and I have started doing this, hopefully weekly movie watch party stream type thing, and we did one this past Tuesday. We watched Cats because it just came out on digital, and Alana was there, and Kaylee Bray was there, and Kaylee Bray is a great GM,
meaning dungeon master,
game master, whatever.
For those of you who are like me and don't know what that means,
she's she's basically like a curator of Dungeons and Dragons storylines and such. She's a DM, and
she's a creative little baby.
She's very creative, and she's great
adult.
and very fun, and she watched Cats with us, and she's actually the DM of our Cats RPG that we keep talking about, that
is also coming out. One of the many contents.
We're talking about releasing that maybe a little earlier, because things are being released earlier because people are home and they're hungry for content and such, but we'll see what we can do. We're working as fast as we can on a lot of this stuff, but yeah, so we're doing these Tuesday night movie watches on his channel, and twitch.tv/Anthony Carboni, and you should just check my socials if you want to just a link to that. But anyway, yeah, and we don't know what we're watching this Tuesday, which is tomorrow for you guys listening to this, but if you want to come join, just check our socials, either mine at Steve Zaragoza or Anthony Carboni's at Anthony Carboni. Anyway, so, I guess that's all the housekeeping. Patrons.
I still want you to have that button.
I just want to say a huge thank you to the patrons who are sticking with us and are really helping us through this. It's difficult, and it's difficult for a lot of people, and it's hard to be give us money right now, because it's a very hard time for everybody.
Well, not everybody, but for a lot more people.
It's a difficult time for a lot of people.
And there are a lot of people who need help as well.
Yeah.
Outside of your company, so it becomes hard. But
yeah, I mean, for us, it's we don't want to have to rely on Patreon for the entire lifetime of our company.
Of course, I think everyone knows that.
And I think we were on a really good trajectory initially, and then certain things occurred. Oh God.
Excuse me.
Oh God.
Listen, it's a cough, not a sneeze, okay?
I think that was a sneeze.
I have my sinuses. No, I'm saying COVID is a cough, not a sneeze.
I'm sure it's transmittable through a sneeze as well. Oh, you're saying as far as symptoms go.
If you're worried about transmission from me, I've been kissing you all day.
Oh,
fuck,
I forgot. I totally forgot. Don't tell him we've been kissing all day.
Too late.
They don't know that information. But, yeah, the idea is not to rely on Patreon for the future continuation of this company, but the sad fact of the matter is that we really are currently relying on the Patreon for that, and we are doing the best that we can to look for outside revenues of financial help, and so far so good, but. But we're not in a place where we can fully be we don't need the Patreon anymore. And I'd love to be able to do that. But right now isn't that time. And it's really difficult. And it's getting scary because we're heading deeper into this unknown of whatever's happening in the world. And, anyway. But I just want to say that I really appreciate everyone who is sticking by and helping us with whatever they can, and it really helps us all out, and it keeps the company going, and it keeps the lights on, and
well, the lights don't matter.
The lights
right
are
now.
off currently at the office, but we're still
everyone's individual rents lights,
right? Individual lights in our homes that we're trying to,
and the editors and whoever else.
But anyway, all right. Well, anyway, that's it. That's all. That's everything.
That's all.
That's all the housekeeping.
Just a little gratitude and little kisses.
So, Alana, if you have a topic, then we could just jump right into it. Otherwise, I can jump on the Patreon and see.
I had a great topic last week, and I feel like I should have something equally great, but because that was such a big one, I don't really have one that I feel like could even compare. So I would first want to hear what you got from Patreon.
Okay,
examples.
well, a lot of people
Oh, really?
have
Suggested
things.
Ooh.
Jimmy Pastrami says,
that makes me hungry.
guess the movie. What is that? Let me guess the movie.
Oh, that's what you're confused on? Guess the movie. Whoa.
Like, what does that even mean? Are you going to give us something, or you want me to just guess a movie?
Well, Steve, guess the movie.
Die Hard.
Correct.
Yes. Woo! I knew it! I fucking knew it! I knew it was Die Hard, man! Genevieve Lemire asks, will you both be playing the new Animal Crossing game together? And if so, what will your town name be, and who are your favorite villagers?
Fraggle Rock.
Now, this is really tough because I gotta say, as much as I love Animal Crossing, I'm not like, I don't know the names of all the fucking villagers and shit. And I know there's new villagers.
You look me in the eyes when you say that, and I have zero reaction.
Well, I mean, I just, I have played all of them, and they're really fun. And it's just kind of like, there's really, it's not really a game. It's kind of just like a hangout.
Yeah.
It's like a chill little hangout. And also, like, I stayed really far away from spoilers and kind of like, I didn't watch any of the Nintendo Directs or any of the stuff where they talked about what's in the game and all the new aspects of it. Like, I know that you can knock down structures and like build structures and like rearrange things, and I think that's really cool. That's the first time you've been able to do that in an Animal Crossing game, like destroy, like create bridges and things like that. But I'm I would love it if Alana would play. You could create your own little character that lives in this town, and like, because I'm going to create this town, right? And it just generates.
No, I don't know.
So when you start Animal Crossing, basically it just creates this town, this village, and in this one it's a island.
It doesn't used to be an island?
No, this is the first time it's going to be an island, I believe.
Well, that's incentive.
I think before it was just like a village or somewhere.
Oh, villages are boring. Let's do an island.
Anyway,
I need to be Moana. If I was making Animal Crossing, by the sound of what you've been saying, I just want it to be the beginning of Moana.
Where the old lady is teaching the kid about the beach?
Where there's a little baby who goes to the water all the time.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. You can be a little baby that goes to the water.
A jewel in the water that just is lovely.
You can go fishing.
No,
you
just
can
a
go
jewel,
fishing.
just
it's
swimming
nice.
around.
And you could dig around in the sand and find like fossils and like.
Okay.
And then the fossils, you could take the fossils to like the museum, and you could like put them together and make like cool fossils of like dinosaurs. You could put like dinosaur bones together or like creature bones together and have like your museum where you can see all the stuff you've collected and stuff. And then you can like decorate your home. You can like add like furniture, and you get new furniture from the villagers, and like there are these like there's a caravan that comes through every once in a while. And by the way, it's all very like current time based. So if you play in the morning, the island is like morning time, and if you play at night, the island is nighttime. And it also goes through seasons. Like there's summer, winter, everything in real time with where you are in the world. So when it's winter here, it's going to be winter in the game. And when it's summer here, it'll be summer in the game. And then like special events happen. Like there'll be like
coronavirus?
Yeah. Coronavirus Day. And all the villagers go stay in their homes, and you can't go.
What if they made it a national holiday and people just isolated on that day?
I don't think anyone wants to celebrate that.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's all sorts of cool shit. You and I can live on the same island together, so you can have like your own little house.
Well, there's different islands.
No, well, there are different islands. Yes, like let's say, like I know that who's a friend that I know that is
who's afraid of the big bad wolf.
Oh, like Elise Willems is getting Animal Crossing, I believe. I forget who I keep talking to about it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. And they've all been like, share your friend code and stuff. But everybody who has their own version of Animal Crossing gets their own island that's different from everybody else's island. Okay. And you can visit that island.
Oh.
And let's say there's like a peach tree that grows in Elise's island, and I don't have a peach tree on my island. I could visit Elise's island, get a peach, and bring it back to my island and bury it, and then get a peach tree. Yeah, it's really simple, cutesy Japanese stuff like that. It's very cutesy. It's very like safe and fun, and it's not violent, and it's not scary, and it's not like there's not really much negativity in the game. Like sometimes the villagers will be mad at you because you don't talk to them enough, or you don't visit them enough, or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll develop little crushes on you, and then you send them like love letters and stuff. But yeah, Plucky's like a hookup, and I do want to hook up with Plucky, but that's it. Like I'm not looking for a relationship with her. She's just really a lot.
Ah, jeez. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, John Travolta. Ah, jeez, Grease. Ah, Delta Zim. How's everybody doing? I'm here for the Valleycast. Sorry, I almost said the Valley Folk, but I'm here for the Valleycast. Oh, jeez. Because I'm here to talk about MeUndies. Oh, MeUndies. My goodness. I've got more money than anybody else on the planet. And I love MeUndies. It's the only underwear I wear. Ah, jeez. Why? But why? Why would you need an undie membership? Why? Well, honestly, because it's fun. It's an easy way to give your future self a present each month. A membership with MeUndies is full of perks like site-wide savings, early access, Dazim, free shipping, and new, ridiculously soft undies delivered to your door each month. MeUndies. Building your undie collection makes your adult life just a tad easier. More undies, less laundries. It's science. Oh, jeez. You've probably heard MeUndies are the softest undies to ever grace your nethers. That's because they're made with micromodal. That's right, they're made with micromodal. What the heck is that, you're asking, Sheila? Well, it's a magical, sustainable, soft as heck fabric made from trees. Yes, trees that makes your bits feel like they're floating on a cloud. Ah, jeez. They're designed to be the softest thing you ever put on your body and offered in a range of sizes from extra small to 4XL. You get it? And MeUndies doesn't just make undies. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. You're the one that I want. They also have loungewear, which recently had a glow up. Check out their new line of styly micromodal loungewear that you can wear in and out of the house. They know you're on every podcast, but that's just because they're looking for true undie domination. Jeez, they won't stop till you try them. So just do it already, guys. MeUndies has a great offer for listeners of the Valleycast. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping, Sheila. This is a no-brainer, especially because they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. The wickedly soft micromodal MeUndies underwear Dazim. To get you 15% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Valley. That's MeUndies.com/Valley. Guys, I wear these underwear on my body all day, and I love them. All right, back to the Valleycast. Oh, jeez, I hope you're loving it. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just like it's a better world than the one we're in, and it's like a fun time. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna make Alana play it. Like, even if you're not really that interested in it, Alana, I'm gonna have you, like, we'll do a stream. Like, I'll do the stream where I'll just play for a few hours, and then it'll be fun. And then, like, the next stream will be, like, Alana sets up her Animal Crossing character, and you watch Alana play.
You're putting so much pressure on me.
Yeah. Okay. What's your Aaron Wyland.
What's your social security number?
What's your social security number? Aaron Wyland wants to know, what's your self-isolation routine with your partner, and how are you avoiding boredom?
Oh, easy. Can I say something for a second?
Go for it.
I love that everybody's talking about boredom as a thing during self-isolation. I have 0%. I have never had boredom in such a situation. I am definitely like a social person, but I do love my alone time. I'm an only child. With a single working mother, I have always been by myself, needing to make myself interesting. And I suffer from crippling anxiety when I let it take control of me, that I'm not doing enough when I'm just by myself. Like,
sounds like you're motivated by something not.
I'm just saying,
super
I have
healthy.
the opposite of boredom. If I was gonna feel bored, I can't even imagine that. When I'm by myself, like, I get boredom in groups of people. You know, when people you just don't click with them. It's just very like a surface talk, and you're just so not interested. I can get boredom in those situations really easily. And as somebody who hates boredom, like, that's annoying. But
I do my best to avoid those situations at all costs.
But also,
these days.
Sure, I mean, especially right now. But there can be interesting people who have something that connects with even your best friend, but just not you. Like, it doesn't mean they're not great people. They just, you're not on the same page that month or whatever.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But when it comes to doing things alone, I have like a list of, I get annoyed. I'm like anxious about how much I have that I want to do just by myself. Endless.
Yeah. I've also yet to be bored at all during this.
I think I could go a couple years and not be bored.
But how long have you and I been quarantined? Like, have you been keeping track of that at all?
Well, I remember that Saturday I didn't go to ballet, and I was going to.
Must have started Monday.
I mean, if you're no, that would mean Saturday. I didn't go to ballet.
Oh. Yeah, because Friday, what happened that Friday?
Did you go to work Friday?
Went to school.
I was
yeah.
going to school.
Did you go to school, son? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I mean, I do think so. I think it would have started Saturday.
Yeah, because Monday was going to be like don't worry about coming in, and Tuesday we were going to shoot March Gladness.
Did you?
No.
Oh.
We decided that, I mean, I think it was Monday we decided that we should not continue coming to the office.
I mean, I still did
So
stuff.
I think we started our quarantine on Saturday, yeah.
But I mean, like, we still went to the grocery store. I went to like 5 grocery stores one day, and I was gone for hours. I still recorded that podcast with Sarah on Sunday, and I did a dance practice, like a one-on-one dance practice. So it was like me, my partner, and the instructor, small group. I still did that. Like, I think we've been like strictly, I have not left the house now for like 3 or 4 days, 4 days. Because we went grocery shopping Monday.
And I had to run to the office a couple of times this week to go pick up like equipment and stuff. And since I'll be streaming from home, I needed to grab like my PC and stuff like that.
Anyway, it doesn't really feel like we're like, if a month goes by and we don't leave the house, okay, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been like fully quarantined. Like, we went to the grocery store, we went to the office, but
it feels quite normal.
It's been almost a week of not being in the office every day.
A week of the
for me
of the like the quarantine that we're calling quarantine, kind of countrywide at the moment.
And by the way, when we're going to the grocery store or the office or whatever, we're furiously washing our hands. We're doing everything we need to do. We're not lingering. We're not hanging out. We're like doing what we got to do, and we're getting the hell out of there. Like, when I go to the office, we have that Lysol container that's like the disinfectant. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter what I'm touching, I'm grabbing one of those and I'm wiping down whatever I touched.
Damn, you're diligent as
I'm just
shit.
doing the best that I can because I don't want to, I don't want to bring it to the office.
Right.
But I guess it's been like a week almost. And, there's really, I live in a fucking Pee-wee's Playhouse in this apartment. There's so many things to do. on top of all the things that need to be done, like podcasts and editing and things like that.
Yeah.
So I haven't really hit boredom yet.
I still feel like I don't have enough time in the day to do all the creative things I'm trying to do.
Yeah, the worst part is you hit that slump when you're like done and you're like spent and you don't feel like working because you're like, I just want to see my friends, or I just want to go to the office and make shit, or like I just want to like, there's so many things I want to do, but the fatigue hasn't really set in yet. And I hope it doesn't.
I reached the slump of like, oh, I need to eat. I'm tired. Oh, maybe I need to eat something. My energy's low. But I don't quite have the slump of I want to go see friends or I want to whatever yet.
Ooh, how about this from Jesse Huckstep?
Okay.
What's the biggest change when you move in with your significant other? Your personal space
sure
goes away.
Yeah. How many significant others have you lived with, my Steve?
Only 2.
I think I've lived with 4.
We're breaking up. That's too many.
I think I've lived with 4 under all kinds of different
And
circumstances.
what were you doing all that time? This just turns into like a total prodding. Were you making out with those people or what?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, your personal space.
But I would say, having lived with so many different people, it's really different depending on the two of you. Like, we can try to generalize. Obviously, personal space sometimes is a thing, but it really depends on the two of you and how the two of you are.
Yeah. Well, he just wants to know what the biggest change is.
I really think it depends
You
on
think
the
it
two
does
of
depend?
you.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but if we were to pick something
in
that
general,
is general,
I think it is personal space,
we'll pick something
obviously.
general.
Personal space and
I think the hardest thing is, well, if
habits. Personal habits are like a big change because it's like, for me, I'm a guy and I've got that whole thing where like my bathroom is like, there's no organization. It's like I don't
even know that organization is the part that's the struggle.
Right, but it's like, I'm talking about the struggle. You leave that to yourself.
Okay.
You just save it for your podcast. But I'm just talking about like you have things that go in certain places, and for me, I don't really have like designated places in my apartment for like designated things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because it was my apartment, like I knew where everything was.
It didn't matter.
But then like when someone moves in who has places for things.
See, I don't think that's male female at all.
Well, okay, whatever. Sure, whatever that is.
I've been in situations where I was the one who had less places for my things to live and more mess. And the person I was with, who was male, was a lot more organized and had things tucked away in their spots proper. It's just a matter of
So you're comparing us now, or?
It's really a matter of like, because sometimes before you move in with someone, it can even be partly because you guys have such a similar way of living that it just feels so natural to just live with them. And I've had that oh my God, they're after me.
I'm actually glad you're not super organized.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I'm not terribly
You're not terribly
I say
unorganized,
it this way.
but like...
No, I think of it this way. I'm very organized. I just don't have a problem with small amounts of mess. Not dirt. Dirtiness, not okay. And mess left too long can create dirt, but mess. Small amounts of mess.
Dirt, and dirt don't hurt you.
Small amounts of mess, I'm totally no problem with. I'm happy to be like, I've got 4 stacks of papers and I know what each of them are and I don't want them moved right now. Like, that's chill. I can live that way too. But as long as everything does have a home that it can live in, like, oh great, we're going to tidy up today. Once a week.
Just never cared
Everything
about
has
that.
its home. Your things don't have a home. Always.
I sort of, right? Like my little accessories, like my Zoltar, my mini Zoltar, my Big Bird feather, like the Dick statue that Whitney got me, and the BB-8 Lego. Like, they live there on this like mantle above the fireplace thing here.
Sure.
Like, that's the place for those things. Like, if BB-8 was somewhere else, I'd be like, oh, that guy's got to go back to the mantle. So, like,
I feel like we're opening a real can of worms here.
It's
We're
just-
too detailed
it's
right
just
now.
that, like, I have places for things, but definitely it's better to designate places for important things like batteries and, like, you know, toiletries and where you keep your food
and where
your
the stack of
plates and
posters
stuff.
should live for 6 months.
Yeah, those types of things. But the thing is like, I do have places for those things, but, you know, they're not really, like, good places.
I'm going to 100% say we should just not get into it.
Look, all I'm trying to say is that, like, when you move in with someone, you, like, you kind of have to get used to where that person wants to keep things and where you want to keep things and all of those things. And those things could change and be, like, kind of a big change. Is learning that, like, you need to work together on where you keep, like, communal things. Like, you know, where these things should be, where those things should be. It's something that you kind of have to work together on, and that's a new thing, I think, when you move in with someone.
I guess. I just think, I don't know that that's true all because if there's already a place for something, then it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's if there hasn't been a place, then it can be a problem because you're not the only one that needs to be able to access something.
Right.
But if there's already a place, it's not like when someone moves in, you have to change the place that you hold your batteries. You just let them know where that is, and I'm sure they're fine with it.
A lot of people know about this. I have a key collection. I love keys. House keys, backyard keys, garage keys. I've got boxes and boxes of keys. And Alana was like, where do you keep all your keys? And I said, oh, in the key box. And then that was something that we really connected on together.
Oh my God. That is one of those memes that hurts your head to try to read. Just that whole thing ending that way, that story.
Now we know where all our keys are.
And now we know where the keys are.
Where Alana's favorite keys are, where my favorite keys are.
And whose key is which coup?
Well, I can reach into my key box and pull out any key and know if it's your key or my key.
Is it Mikey?
Mikey. Okay, Nathan Gagné. This is a very fun question. And I would love to know the answer to this. It's directed specifically to you.
Let's start actually answering these instead of just
Well,
jokes
we did.
sticking
I mean,
around.
some of them are kind of like vague. Like, what changes the most when you move in with a significant other? And you're right. It really depends on.
I could say. I think the top 3 things that you can be general about that will change when you and someone else move in together are small habits like
farts, where you put your keys.
Truly, yeah. Like if somebody doesn't like farts, sure, farts can be a thing. Or like, do you put your dishes straight in the dishwasher? Do you leave them in the sink? Do you leave them at the table? Like how the simple little things that you do. You could say like, do you put the toilet seat up or not if it's like a guy's involved in the relationship, or if there's just a penis involved in the relationship.
Where do you keep your dick dipping buckets?
So that's
Because
one.
I keep them all over the place. And you guys know what dick dipping buckets are. You just dip your dick in and it's a nice little, it's like washing your hands.
Yeah. So there's one, the little things. The second one is like the timing patterns you both have. So like I like to wake up at this time, do this around this time, have my relaxing time at this time, watch TV or movies around this time, or maybe once a week or every day or just in the weekends. Like the timing of your lives. Like I go to bed at 11 p.m., but my significant other always goes to bed at 2 a.m. Like those little timing pattern
I'm feeling
differences.
shamed right now.
No, we have almost the exact same timing. I think that's one that meshed really well between us.
I just think no matter what you say right now, I'm going to take it personally.
Yeah, but take it personally in a good way. I'm saying
I'm sorry. I need to cry now.
Wait, and then the third one is what you said about personal space kind of stuff, like knowing which stuff is yours versus theirs and being able to both have an equal presence in the house and access things and all that and work with each other on that. Those are the 3 main generals, I'd say.
All right. Well, there's another question here that I think is very interesting for you.
Oh my gosh, is it the Army Captain General?
It is the Army Captain General. Nathan Geisning asks, Alana,
Uh-oh.
has there ever been a moment where Steve has done something so weird that you had to question your life choices? Good night, Alana.
Good night.
Good night, Will.
Good night, Steve.
I just smiled and I feel like you could hear
The smile
saliva.
happened.
Yeah.
I heard her smile.
Oh, the grosses.
Smile ASMR. Ready?
I tried to make it extra juicy.
Hang on. Let me boost me up a little bit. Here's a smile for you guys. Listen. It's gross. I hate it. All right. You got any?
It's really hard for something to be too weird for me.
Yeah, because you're pretty weird yourself.
Yes, and I'm very... I think open-minded isn't the right term. I just have experienced such unique assortment of things in life that I kind of don't believe that something is weird. I'm like, yeah, but have you been to this small village in this foreign country? Because that's totally normal. And that's kind of how my brain thinks. So there's that. But sometimes you'll do something that's so weird in a direction that is not my direction, and it just won't be as funny to me. And in those moments, I'm like, oh, we're not aligned. But that's rare.
Whoa.
I've said it to you. I've been like, hey, not funny anymore. Like maybe 10 times since we've been together.
Damn.
It's usually just like if we're already doing something and you're still going on a tangent and I'm like, okay, but I want to keep doing the original thing now.
Oh,
like,
you went serious with
the joke
this.
timing happened. What? Wasn't it a real question?
I mean, sure. I think the weird part was more geared towards coming up with a fun.
Oh, nothing's ever been too weird. No.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're already pretty weird. Like, you're pretty weird. The reason why
Yeah.
I think this works so well is because of how weird we both are.
Oh.
Like, I think that's one of the main reasons why this works so well. Because we can
Yeah.
both be weird and just start chanting some shit, and then one or the other
yeah.
will just join in on a chant, and we'll just be chant screaming some ridiculous shit. Like, the other day we were watching...
chant every single day. Maybe 3-4 times every single day we chant something.
We have this, like...
Every single day.
We have an inside joke right now about raisins. and it literally came from mishearing a meme video. And then we started blaming each other for stealing each other's raisin.
We were like, this is a fun topic. Let's talk about
Well,
this.
we don't have to get too into the
I'm
specifics.
going to tell
All
it.
right, go for it.
We were in bed. It was in the morning
this is
time.
too intimate
We had
for
just
me.
woken up.
Let me take my shirt off.
And it's when whatever, we're in bed, and when you go to kiss each other or say hi
you
to
go
each
to
other,
kiss it.
when you go to say good morning,
When you're with your girl and you're trying to kiss it.
oh, it wasn't one of those, for the record.
What? I'm just talking about lips. Kiss it.
And we misheard this meme, and it sounded like somebody said, "Where's my raisin?" And I think it was me who started saying to you, "Where's my raisin?" Like you had stolen it, and
Yeah.
getting like joke angry.
Yeah.
Where did you put my raisin? Where's my raisin?
Yeah, and so now we have this thing where
Wait,
like
and
at
I
any
extended it.
random moment.
Yeah, but then I extended it, and I was like, "It's been gone all night. You took it in the night when I was here." We've also been watching Lord of the Rings, and I think that's part of the raisin thing. It feels kind of like a my precious moment, but okay. Like, where did you take it? Where's my raisin been? And the big reveal was Steve responds by saying, "Yeah, I took your raisin.
Yeah.
I had it all night. I was keeping it warm."
Yeah, it's keeping it warm.
And so now we can to each other throughout the day just talk about each other stealing our raisins in the
Yeah,
night.
like randomly one or the other. Like today I said, I can't find my raisin.
And then you look
And I look at
glaringly
you
at me.
like, yeah, like where could it be?
Did you take it again?
Um,
And it's great. Yep. Steve's reading new prompts. Did I get too serious? It's kind of later in the day.
yeah.
And I'm
yes.
falling.
Have some goddamn fun with this, will you?
Well, I guess I am just very introspective right now.
Mike Guinea
Mike New Guinea.
wants to know, what sport or activity have you never played / done that you would like to get involved in?
I love learning different types of dances, and I have learned many, but I want to learn every single one. So all of those for me.
I don't want to do any sports.
You want to learn salsa with me. I've taken you to one lesson.
But I will do it because it sounds fun, and
That's what
and,
we
and
wanna
you'll
learn a
have
new
a lot
thing
of fun.
for.
But I don't really like dream of it.
Oh, I see, yeah.
It's not like a dream of mine to be a salsa dancer or something. Like, I don't watch people salsa dance and go like, fuck, I want to do that so bad.
Oh, I do.
I just look at it and go like, okay, that looks cool. But it makes you so happy, and I want to
Aw,
do it with
thank
you.
you.
And I want to make you happy, and I think that's fun. And I think it is a fun thing. And it's like, what if I just learned how to salsa dance? That'd be kind of cool.
I want to know how to like roller derby, roller
Oh,
skate.
yeah, that's not me.
That would be cool. But the thing is, I like roller blades 10,000 times better than roller skates, and I can't imagine myself converting.
I want to learn how to, like, play the piano. That's my thing. I want to learn how to play the piano.
Steve wants the instrument stuff, which is so
I want to learn how to
great.
play the piano, and I want to learn how to, like, do a solo on an electric guitar.
Whoa. I want to learn drums.
I did a Kickstarter back. I was a Kickstarter backer for this thing. These like electric guitars. They're like little mini electric guitars, and they're meant to like learn on. And there's like an iPhone app companion with it to like teach you how to play. And I'm all about like weird instruments and stuff. Like I love little toy instruments and things. And this one really caught my attention. And it's coming in like April or something. And that's where my whole plan is to like really start to put time and effort into the electric guitar and have some fun with an electric guitar.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love
It's not a
that.
sport, but
I feel like there's so many things I want to do. My brain is just like spinning. Every kind of movement. Yoga stuff.
what about like
All the types of
softball
yoga.
or volleyball or something?
Nah, I tried them.
You played volleyball?
Yeah, I mean, didn't most people play? Maybe it's not volleyball specific, but you know when you're in PE in school, there's always those
Yeah.
like basic sports they have you do?
Tetherball.
Yeah, coming from Hawaii, we had volleyball frequently. Not on the beach, but, you know, outside.
Did you ever play it on the beach?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I'm Daria.
What does that mean?
You know, Daria from the intro of the show Daria?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
What do you mean by you're Daria? You're an introverted, depressed
in
girl?
the intro to the show Daria, when it's like, I don't remember the tune actually, a volleyball
It's like,
or whatever.
"You're living in my head."
Yes. Oh, I want to watch that so bad. I loved that show. That was one of my favorite shows in high school. Anyway, Daria.
La, 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 la.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can easily accidentally go into the Tom Green show from that.
Oh, don't
This
accident.
is the Tom
That's not
Green.
it. Oh,
No.
Oh.
The sound.
Not the Green Tom show.
This is my favorite show.
Yeah.
Because it is my
My
show.
show.
I can't sing it and laugh at the same time. It's the Tom Green show.
That was a great show. That
That one we
inspired
should
me
watch
quite
more
a
too.
bit.
Both of those we should watch.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, Daria in the intro of a ball bounces past her. She's in a school sports situation, and it's like, Daria, get the ball, kind of a thing. And it flies past her, and then like 3 seconds later, she puts her arm out to the side.
Oh, okay. So
then
you're not
just lowers
coordinated
it.
enough for a sport like
I'm
that.
coordinated. It doesn't make me excited, and I'm scared, and I'm bored. Like, I would just be the kid looking at my nails. Like, how's this cool?
Is there a sport you've seen though where you're like, I want to do that? Like a sport. Like baseball, basketball, football, tennis, hockey.
Everything related to dance. So like maybe like ice skating or something I could do. But I mean, if you're going to qualify ice skating as a sport, then you're going to qualify the type of dancing I do as a sport. Maybe not for the Olympics, but in general, like it's the same body movements and stuff.
I can't think of one Olympic sport that I would want to
Ping
do.
pong. Nope. Just a guess.
No.
You like your scooter. What if it was something like scootery?
You like your scooter.
You're
Like
like,
I'm a fucking 9-year-old boy. You love your scooter. When was the last time I used a scooter?
your bird. You love birding.
I know, but like, when was the last time I even did it? It's been
well,
months.
the brake on it broke, so that's the reason you haven't
Even
done it.
ones that are like out on the sidewalk and shit.
Yeah, but
like, I
every
don't care
time-
about. I haven't been on one in like months.
Okay, you can talk me out of it. Fine. If that's not you, that's not you. I'm just saying you've brought
Maybe
it
I
up a
could
lot
do
that
like
you
a-
like scootering.
I brought it up a lot.
Yeah. When I think about a date idea for us, I think, is there an area that has plentiful scooters nearby?
Oh man, I don't know if you are you thinking of the right person. It's me saying that.
Yes,
I don't know.
Don't
the
make
last
me
time.
feel bad. Yes.
I don't even remember the last time I mentioned a scooter.
When we weren't in LA. The thing is, scooting in LA, doing those bird scooters in LA outside of the West Side is not convenient because the streets are very
It's
aggressive
they're
and violent,
unfriendly
and it's
streets.
cold. not crazy cold, obviously, but like it's just not super comfortable, exciting to be on a scooter.
There aren't like bike lanes
There
here.
aren't bike lanes, and there are a lot of like,
and you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk.
and there are new bike lanes that like cars are not really allowing you to be in
if
yet.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, when I first got that like a year ago,
You were scared.
no, I
Oh.
was so into it for like 5 months, maybe. And then I was like, too dangerous to fuck, because like I hurt
'Cause you-
myself
yeah.
really bad at one point, and then I like scooted. I would just scoot like down, like maybe like a couple of miles. I would just ride around the neighborhood and stuff, and every time I did it, there was like a close call with a car almost hitting me.
Yeah.
Because people drive like crazy around here.
But versus-
they come out of alleyways, or like they come to the stop sign. They don't even stop at the stop. They're like right in that in the street, essentially. Like I almost got hit countless times.
Yeah.
So it was like about 5 months where I was like, I really want to do this and I love it. I want to ride around and be free and fucking zoom around town and be a little bit green because I don't have to drive my fucking car around. And all the stuff I need in this city is like really centrally located for me to be able to do that.
But
And then it got super dangerous, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to fucking die on this thing. And then I just gave up on it.
But when you think about it as compared to like when we birded around in Austin, no
That
part
was
of me
fun.
was freaking out. I
Yeah,
was
same.
The streets are wide as fuck. There's so much space and totally designated bike lane. There aren't like fucked up things on the sidewalk that you're going to
Yeah.
hit. Like it felt like great, fine. All of Texas, I'm sure, is a great place to
Austin
fucking bird
especially
in.
is really, really good for bicyclists.
And it's warm enough in the summer that like it's fucking great. And the same thing with if you're strictly on the west side in your bird, it's not as great as Austin, but it's still fun. It's great.
It's still
There's
fun,
still
but
so
it's
much
like
space.
it's still kind of dangerous on the west
well, it's
side.
more dangerous than our example of Austin
Yeah,
for sure.
Austin
But
was like there were just so many like bridges and cool
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods that were just like there was so much room on the street,
And
and
I
like
think
they designated bike paths.
yeah, and more of the world I think has areas like Austin that have birds in them. Then like I think LA and New York are kind of the standouts. Maybe Chicago. I don't know how Chicago's bike lanes are.
What's even like that in sports? Literally nothing.
Oh, I
maybe
forgot.
motocross or something.
Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever been like on the back though? of a motorcycle?
Absolutely not.
Or like a scooter?
No, sir.
None of it.
No.
It is.
I did for a while. I was like,
Wait,
do
you
I-
did?
No, I was just gonna say what
Oh.
I did was I really wanted a Vespa for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody went through their Vespa phase, right? Like, do you think I could get a Vespa? Maybe I could get rid of my car and get a Vespa. And
These are outside of LA dreams.
I know they're like San Francisco dreams. And
I
shit
don't
like
know
that.
with those hills. I don't know that I don't think San
I knew
Francisco
people
at
that
all.
rode Vespas and Vispas
but
in
I don't
San
think
Francisco.
it's safer in San Francisco than LA for
I
a
don't
Vespa.
know. I think like like the West Side and a little bit like Austin, they're a little bit more open with their like pedestrian like cycling. There's a lot of cycling. I mean, even the Golden Gate Bridge has a fucking big cycling
Yeah, but
section.
a bridge like that was created with a separate lane because worst case scenario does not work out.
I mean,
All
there's
those
just a
bridges
lot
have,
of
like a walk.
there's just
space.
more bike lanes there than there are here. I don't know what that has
Maybe.
to say about Vespas, but I did look into Vespas and was like, man, maybe I should get a Vespa or something. But that's the closest I ever got to some kind of motorcycle experience.
Yeah. The thing about all those is they're just too dangerous. They can't be your daily thing. You're putting your risk up too high, I think. Well, at least in big cities like ours. But I have ridden on the back of motorcycles and Vespas, and I think you would love it. Not
Yeah,
for
I
all the
don't wanna-
time,
I'm
but
not-
just for like a temporary, like, oh, let's go on this open road and get to the one place we're going or whatever. It's very free.
I mean, I don't want to do that ever.
Okay.
I
You don't have to.
I would need to be like the only way I would do that is if there was like a stunt man who was like a professional motorcyclist and was like, I've done this for 20 years. I know I know how to do it.
What about dune buggying?
Well, we did that.
I know. I'm trying to transition.
But notice in the dune buggy situation, which those of you who are like, what? Alana and I went on this
What?
trip for Sony for Jumanji, and we rode around in dune buggies, and you'll get to see that real soon. And we just
In
got
the
all the footage and stuff.
Torrential rain.
Oh yeah, it was torrential
and
rain on
lightning and thunder
on the sand with
Yes.
these like crazy dunes that like dropped like 60 feet or something, or like
They were like, oh, it's no big deal. You'll be fine. And we got out there and I was like, I'm not a general scaredy cat, but no fucking way is this no big deal.
Well, they were talking about how it's like safer when it's raining because you can't get stuck.
They
'Cause the
didn't say
sand
that
is-
it was safer. They said you won't get stuck as much. I watched them mind
I heard them
their
say
words.
safer.
Mm-mm.
The
They
people
said you
in
won't
the
get
car
stuck
on
as
the way
much.
over said safer, but whatever. All right, whatever, dog. Whatever, dog.
Because you got to listen to the fine print when these people have ownership in their company about how they're speaking. They're going to specifically use certain words.
But that was like the closest to some kind of high-speed motorcycle-like thing.
And how'd you feel about that?
Well, I liked being the driver of it because I was in control of when I could stop it or slow down or go faster or whatever. If I was the passenger, I'd be like freaking out.
That's right. We've talked about this, that I prefer in a scary like driving situation to be, I don't know about driving a car,
passenger.
but driving like a weird vehicle. I would prefer being a passenger, and Steve would prefer being a driver.
Well, you told me about when you were in Iceland, you were like driving in the fog and you were like, you wished you were a passenger. In
No,
that
I did
situation.
not wish in that situation. In that situation, I'm glad I was the driver. Car, I'm glad I was a driver. But for something like a motorcycle or some kind of machine that I'm less familiar with, I always prefer to be the passenger because I assume whoever's the driver knows more than I do. And I can just sit and pray that we don't die. Frankly. If it's one of those situations, what I mean.
Yeah, I'd rather be in control of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because then I can control when I want it to stop, so I can like leave.
I get that 100%.
But this thing was like there was no world where we could have stopped and gotten out and been like, we're done, because we were like locked into this fucking thing, and we were like wearing all this gear.
Yep. And we had to drive far out, and there was a massive group of us, and it was
like 25, 30 minutes of just riding fast, high-speed dune buggies in the torrential rain.
With like you're following the leader basically, and the person in front of you just disappears over the dune, and you're like, oh great, is that a drop? Is that a slight incline?
just
Like
not
what
see
is
them,
that?
or- yeah.
And then the second you get to the peak, you're like, oh great, it's a huge drop, and we're going straight down.
And they tell you when you're like on a hill, when you're going up to a peak, you have to speed up.
Because otherwise, if you go too slow, you're going to get stuck.
You'll get stuck on the hill.
Facing up the hill, which is apparently rough.
But also, don't go too fast because you'll jump. You'll do like a jump over the hill.
And if you do a jump, it's going to be terrible, and
It's
their
bad
wheels
news.
could come off and all these things. Their video
The
was
video
like,
was crazy.
Oh, God.
It was like 95% of people have a great time. But 5% hate their lives afterwards. They're never the same.
They literally showed us the bills that 5% of people get
Oh, yeah, there
from
was a
how they
screenshot of a
damage
bill.
these vehicles and how all terrible things happen to them and they get hurt. It was like zooming in on like $700,000 bill, like terrible. I don't think
Yeah.
it was that much, but
They're just there was an instructional video that they were like that was like an hour long, and they told us, just watch the first 10 minutes of it or something. And it was just like the most dated VHS, like,
so
here's
weird.
what to do and here's what not to do when you're riding a dune buggy. But yeah, like there were moments where, you're speeding up because you're going up a hill. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, it's all about timing, right? You want to slow down when you get to like just about the peak so that you don't fucking zoom over. But if it's a big fucking drop, I mean,
you're just
all you gotta
zooming
do is
down.
go down.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to just go with the flow. And we did that a couple of times. It was pretty fucking
Steve
scary.
and I were both just like,
I actually found the like kind of like vertical. What do they call that? Vertical.
you're trying to. So there's also, imagine like a crater of sand. You can go kind of around the edge of the crater,
Yeah,
so you're
kinda-
not on the very tip,
You
but
go
you're
at
like
an angle.
You're like sideways tilted going around the edge. Sometimes you have to, because you're following the leader again, and so for some things he'll go straight into, some things he'll start curving, and you're like, what's going to happen
You just gotta
over the
do
edge?
it.
Oh, we're curving through a crater, and what's happening here? And it's just all these different ways. And you liked those?
No, I didn't like.
Oh, I
those.
didn't
the
like
ones
those
where
either.
you could go on the side and it almost like could flip you over because
Yeah,
you were like
'cause of-
so angled.
Yes.
It was like not okay. I didn't like that. But the dune buggies are actually so heavy
That what?
that if you counterbalance a little bit, like
I mean,
if you lean into the turn a little, like you'd probably be okay. But there are
Well,
ways
yeah,
I'm
we
sure
were
to
okay.
knock yourself over and fall out of the damn thing.
100%.
But it was really cool and fun, and you guys will see the footage of us doing that soon. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we had a really good time doing that. All right. Well, we're coming close to an hour here, and we didn't get through nearly all the topics suggestions in the Patreon post, but I hope you guys were entertained by Alana and I just kind of like shooting the shit about our lives,
Shit in the chute.
hiding the raisin.
Hiding the raisin about our lives.
Yeah, Alana, is there anything
Raisin.
anything else you want to talk about? Alana and I have been watching the extended editions of The Hobbit, and we just finished The Desolation of Smaug.
Which is number 2 if you're like me and uncertain of.
Yeah, you never saw it.
No, because I saw the first one in theaters and I didn't like it and I said, fuck this shit, and I did not watch the other 2. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but that's how I felt. I think so far, having seen the second one, the first one is definitely worse than the second one by a lot.
Most people have some pretty awful things to say about the Hobbit movies.
But once you get
most
through the
people
first
didn't
one,
enjoy them, it seems like.
The second one was great. I loved the second one. And Lord of the Rings is slow but great. Slow just meaning it's a lot for one story. It's like we watched the extended too, so it's like 3 hours times 3 movies.
I mean, I love Martin Freeman, and I love Ian McKellen as Gandalf. And
He's
I could
so good.
watch Gandalf and Martin Freeman do shit
Yeah,
for
but
3
the
or 4
problem
hours.
is,
Easy.
how often is it just them?
The dwarves are cool, too. There's some of
That's
them
how
that are
I
like,
feel about the dwarves.
The dwarves
are cool too.
No,
Like,
they're totally cool.
there's one dwarf that I have some understanding of personality from, and the others are all just like bricks in a wall.
Because there's like 12 of them.
Yeah, but like, okay, so give me like, direct in a way where each one of them has a little trait that you start to pick up and see notices of. At this point, we're watching extended editions. At this point, I've seen 6 hours of those dwarves, and I still can barely tell them apart outside of, obviously, they have different
There's
hairstyles.
like 3 of them that are like pretty boring, not great.
Exactly. And I'm like,
But
are they
there's, like,
just going to
12 of
die?
them.
Or, give me a little bit more. They're the only things that we're repeatedly seeing. It's them and it's fighting and like beautiful
Listen,
scenery. So
all
like,
I'm
give
gonna
me some
say-
more personality.
Here's what I have to say. It's incredibly difficult to take a book like The Hobbit
Sure.
and turn that into an epic 3-part fucking dramatic action series.
Yeah. I'm not meaning to overall shit on it. I'm just nitpicking.
In the book of The Hobbit, the dwarves are all unique in their own ways, but you don't really care about every single one of them because
Right.
there's so many of them.
I don't need to care about them. I just want them to
Well,
be
you care
holding
about
on
them-
to those traits.
You care about them as a unit. You care about them as like a
Sure.
fellowship together.
But like you saw how in this third one, it's not a
Second
spoiler. Second one, it's not a spoiler. Part of them split up with each other
can't
for a
believe you
bit of
spoiled
time.
the whole movie.
That's not a spoiler. When we're focused on just one of the storylines of like one of the groups and not the other, I completely forgot the other group existed in a bad way. Where like I should care more that
You mean
the
the
other
ones with
peoples
the
are going
sick
on.
one and the home
Yeah.
and stuff? Yeah.
I didn't even remember
Well,
that
it's
they were
because-
happening because I was like, great, there are less people to focus on.
I mean, look, when I love the original Star Wars movies to kind of offshoot a little bit.
Okay.
And Return of the Jedi does this thing where it cuts back and forth between all these different groups of rebels that are like doing things to try to win. Mm-hmm. And to me, every time it cut back to like Han and Leia on Endor, like doing all their like mushy stuff and like shooting the stormtroopers and stuff, I was like, let's get back to the space battles and let's get back to the like.
I would have probably been the opposite.
Yeah, but now I appreciate all of it equally, but I could totally understand from a viewpoint of like not really caring too much about the series and not being a huge fan of Lord of the Rings or whatever.
I love beautiful scenery and I love fantasy and magic
I think you got
and
a
stuff.
lot of that in these.
And those are the things I'm getting from this, but what I didn't get in the first one at least was like any females whatsoever.
From the
And-
first one, yeah.
Yes, and I didn't get any I'm just going to say something really kind of out there that is basically what I've already said. I don't think there's a huge amount of, in the movies, visual character development of the people who aren't the top 4 main
breaking up.
characters.
We're breaking up right now.
I'm
We're
sure,
breaking up on the Valleycast.
Listen, I'm sure the books have plenty of character development. Books are great at that. But I just think in the films, there was so much focus on the CG villains that are happening. There wasn't a lot of focus on keeping like classic directing.
The Hobbit is a
keeping
short
small character traits
book.
that can be consistent.
The Hobbit is a short book, and there's
Then
really.
why is it 3 hour long movies?
I'll tell you why. It's
Okay.
one word: money.
You're right. Okay.
And Peter Jackson really didn't want to do 3 movies, but the studio was really pushing him about
Should
it.
have done 2.
I think it could have been 1.
Oh, really?
I really do.
I like the second one though.
But here's the thing. The Hobbit book doesn't have 3-4 hour movie fucking 16 hours or 12 hours of fucking story. No way, dude. It's a kid's book. And there's not much fucking character development in kids' books. There just aren't. There's like
I don't know. I feel like
there's
maybe
a
the
hero's
opposite.
journey. There's an unsuspecting, hero that goes and does a thing and saves the day, and then there's a
Sure.
happy ending.
But there's usually like the trait they give the side characters in a kid's book. Like the one guy is like,
well, they do that.
like,
They've got the fat
one.
one in the movie.
but they like mention his weight maybe twice, and that's it. It doesn't even become like you can turn
Because
that
then who
into
cares
something.
about that?
But no, if it was.
Remember when he did that really cool thing on the barrels and he rolled around and
Yeah,
like,
that was the one.
That
of
was
the
the
two,
fat guy.
One
thing.
of the 2 times that he did something.
He broke
that
a table.
that, like,
that was pretty character
Personalized him.
defining stuff.
All of them have been breaking tables.
Listen, the point I'm trying to make is that in a children's book, you're not going to get depth from 12 fucking different dwarves. You're not going to get character
Oh,
depth
really?
from 12 different
Hello,
dwarves.
how about Snow White, bro? That's depth from 12
I mean, because they're
dwarves.
literally called what they are.
No, but they
If you
act
call the
like
dwarves
it.
what they are.
If you were to watch the movie, I know it's a kids movie, but I'm using this for argument's sake, and then they weren't called by those names.
There's also 7 dwarves and there's 12. in
well,
the
whatever.
movie.
If their names were like,
There's an
Joe
11.
and Raggy and Raggy
Raggy's my favorite dwarf.
and Skin Monster, and if those were their
Skin
names.
Monster. What the fuck?
I don't know what came to my
That's
head.
the best you could come up with?
Raggy.
Raggy's very good.
Okay, if they had different names, but they
Baggage.
if you watch the even though it's an animated movie, throughout the movie they're all always super embodying their character traits, even though they're super simple because it's a kid's story. You can do that in an adult way and have characters, and that's good direction. Have characters
Like the
continue to
deaf
embody
one
the
does all
traits
those
of their
fun
character.
Deaf things.
Well, he does hold his like deaf ear thing out,
But that's all he does.
but like we don't show him. He's never like if he honestly think about if I was like going to direct this. I'm not to say I'm anywhere near a feature film length director, but if he was going to be like character development really matters to me in filmmaking. It just does. It's how I get into a story, right? So let's say the deaf guy, him being deaf, I would make sure that he was always kind of like leaning in when they were having conversations, or
if you look in the
he
background,
would always
he totally
be,
is.
No, he's not. This is exactly my argument.
You never see him do that?
Or I'd make sure he's like sitting at the front, or once someone starts talking, he like weasels his way in closer, and the other ones, knowing that he's deaf, would be encouraging of that. Like simple little things that aren't necessarily
I think there's plenty of
conscious to the audience that help you to see why which character's which, and the mannerisms different between them, so they don't all kind of do their hands when they're walking the same way. Like develop little differences. It's like how to make them be individual, unique individuals. Even
By
though
the
they're
way,
dwarves, they can all be slightly different.
I just want you all to know that the reason why Alana sounds quieter
Oh, I'm sorry.
is because she's
Because you
so far
sound,
away from the mic.
I sound so much louder than you in my ears, is why.
But I'm looking at the levels.
Okay, baby,
And they
I'll
look
stay up
great.
here.
I think that
I'm not shitting on the movie as a whole,
no,
but
totally.
that's what I would ask for
I
more
actually
of.
disagree about the details like that. I think that
All right.
something I mean, I've seen these movies many times, and something
Sure.
I notice something new every single time. Because there is 12 fucking dwarves, and you could watch one of them at any given time, and they're doing something.
And I think
Everyone's always doing something.
some
and I
of
think
them
the deaf guy,
is not a great one.
he's definitely doing that. What you're asking
he's holding
for,
like one of those old school
like a horn.
horns to his ear,
Like
is
a
what
metal
he does
horn,
that we're talking
yeah.
about.
But he's totally doing what you're asking. You'd think you'd wished that he'd
No,
done.
he just
100%
occasionally
he's,
no.
like,
He
sneaking in and
occasionally
doing that.
holds that thing up to his ear, and it's half crushed already because somebody crushed
Someone
it.
crushed
and
it,
he
yeah.
doesn't even face the horn in the direction of who's talking.
Well, that's the
So-
joke. The joke is that
I don't think it's still a
closed up
joke.
and it
He just
doesn't-
looks like he's not acting well when he does that. It looks like he's just holding it up because he was told to hold it up.
I
I'm
don't
telling
think that's
you,
fair.
it's little
I don't
things
think
like
that's fair.
that.
Let's get the actor on the line and ask him what he
I
thinks
think
about about what you just said.
Well, I think the reason things like that can be hard in a movie like this, and maybe I'm totally speculating, is because so much that's going on is CG and is not physically in frame with you, that it's hard to kind of be reacting in your character to everything
Sure.
going around in subtle ways.
I actually was impressed with the lack of, or the because there's a lot of CG with like the bad guys and stuff, but there's so much practical stuff in this, just like in the original, in the
And
Lord
I'm
of the Rings.
very impressed by their use of CG as like, it feels like a third of the movie is CG.
The worst CG is like in the fully CG goblins.
Well,
and
there's
stuff,
two
the
things we're
orcs and
talking
stuff.
about.
The goblins were cool, actually. It's the orcs that I have.
Sure. We're talking about if the CG itself, like the art of it, the craft of it, looks good, like if it looks like it's really a part of the scene or not. And then we're talking about how the actors and the film interact with the CG, because those are the two struggles with CG central, right?
Sure.
And when I say interact with, it's like when you see someone looking at a CG creature and their eye line is off or something, like that's poor
Most
interaction.
people don't
with
really
CG.
notice that, but
Yeah,
you're
but
right,
you know,
yeah.
if they're, I think that's a pretty good description. You can get the idea. And I think in these films, the CG, the way the CG and the real shit and people interact with each other is impeccable. I don't know
yeah.
somebody in 2012 or whatever who did it anywhere near that well.
Well, and
Very good.
The what do I want to say? Like the depth perception. Like what's the trick? The camera trickery they do with like
Oh,
sizes, like how
yeah,
the
camera
dwarves are
trickery.
smaller and
Can't
stuff.
think of it either.
I can't remember what it's called, but there's a name for it. But
shit.
those effects, like all that,
In
look
camera
really
effects.
cool.
Anyway,
And some of those are CG also and green screen and stuff. But
Sure.
I think when you watch Lord of the Rings, some of that is like real bad. The sizes
Well,
and stuff.
I think,
the
okay.
consistency is really off a lot of the times.
that's true.
But in this, it's like it's so good you don't even notice it. You're like, these are just small actors that are on set with all these big people.
Yeah. And in watching something that came out in, I think it was 2010, 2012, now, there are moments where the CG, like visually as an art, how it looks to be real or not, doesn't look that real. But most of the time it does look quite real. It's impressive for how many years have passed.
Well, I know everyone's really sad we're going to stop talking about The Hobbit now to end this podcast,
I'm
but it's time
sorry.
to end the podcast. Alana, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me on this quarantine cabin fever edition
Corn
of
podcast.
this corny podcast, the Valleycast, with just me and Alana talking about our lives and shit.
I'm sorry I got so serious quite a few
No,
times.
that's okay.
Well, I don't know
I
if
mean-
I'm sorry, but I only
No,
realized
dude.
afterward
Don't be
to
sorry.
make light.
I love it. I loved it. I had a great time.
Oh, thanks.
And I appreciate you as a person.
Appreciate
as
you.
a human being. I'm glad you were here to help and be a part of this and make this work. And I'm glad that all of you listening to this, hopefully, well, I'm glad you hopefully enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it is really what I'm trying to say. Ah! Ah! Sorry, hiccups scare me.
Should we smile for them right before we sign off?
Yeah, we'll do that last. But
Okay.
first, tell people where they can find you and shit.
Oh, you can find me at Love Alana Chan, LoveAlanaChan on Twitter, Instagram, any of the bobies,
All those bobies.
all the social bobies.
Alana will be joining me on my Animal Crossing stream, I'm sure, whether she likes it or not, and probably on our movie watching thing, too, with Anthony Carboni, which happens on Tuesdays at twitch.tv/Anthony Carboni. And let's see, anything else here? Thank you to our patrons.
Thank you.
Always, you guys are our rock.
And roll.
You guys help us in so many ways. We hope you realize that. And I want to thank you to people that just listen to the podcast, too. Thank you for listening. And, if you're feeling inclined, if you feel compelled, maybe you're not a patron, but you want to help in some way and you can't really help in that way, you can go to iTunes, where the Valleycast is, and write a review and rate the podcast. Give it a rating. And I won't tell you what to give it. You just give it what you want to give it. But it really helps a lot when you rate it and when you leave a little review and let people know what you think of the podcast, because, it gets us up on those lists, and that's always a fun thing. Let's see. Anybody else? I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Elliot. I want to thank Kevin. I want to thank Kate. hope everybody's doing well, and the next episode should either be Joe and Heather or maybe Elliot and Grace, but we'll see what that is, and I don't want to make any promises, but that's the idea here. But anyway, thank you all for listening. Alana, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anything else you want to leave anybody with?
I hope that you guys listened to this and had a great time, I don't know, cleaning your house or cooking up a food or
Cooking a buffoon.
driving to a food, but staying safe. You know, whatever thing you did while you listened, I hope it was great.
Okay, so Alana, let's end this podcast with
a smile.
With a smile. Are you ready? Get really close to that mic.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, I can hear all those sounds. Okay, ready? Here comes a smile from Alana and I. 1, 2, 3.